January 7th, 1932. Together with Pat and Tony Smith, off from Jan Smuts Airport for the Far East. It is a new year and a new venture for all of us. For Pat and Tony, 4 years administrative work in Japan. For myself, 6 months in Thailand, the land of the free.
1, 2. Bangkok, Thailand's busy and noisy capital. Idle taxis, some laws add to the noise that surrounds the people who will go about their business and sell their wares to whoever will buy. Apparently unconcerned with the bustle around them, Buddhist monks go about their merit-making, while the less spiritual common people, each one caught up in his own small world, to merge to form a mass of 3 million people. In the back areas of Ban Rai in central Thailand, David had the dubious pleasure of riding on the back of one of these bikes to visit the local coordinator of evangelism and Peter Beer. Alex spoke to members of the churches and made plans for the forthcoming evangelistic thrust to be held in their area. Seminar on evangelism was held at Manaram, site of the large mission hospital. Even though the skyline of every small town is literally littered with TV aerials such as this one, the word of mouth remains the only really effective means of evangelism. One morning, a truck arrives at the gate of the Smith's house in Utai, and a load of Bible school students from North Thailand arrive in high spirits. The generator is brought out and made ready for the forthcoming program. These three found it necessary to practice all day and every day on the electric guitars. There is a slight delay in operations, however. The truck is stuck on the ridge in the middle of the road. The students show their ingenuity, while missionary Peter Beer sweats it out in the cab. Eventually, the wheels grip, and they are on the road again. Having reached their destination, the students offload the truck. They then set to work to put together the mobile stage which they will use for their program. Someone starts up the baby generator in the back of the truck which powers the public address system used to advertise a meeting to the local populace.
Meanwhile, the Land Rover team is being prepared for operation. Alex sorts out some literature to be taken with the team. The Land Rover visits various villages scattered around central Thailand and presents a program of films interspersed by short preachers and book selling. Some petrol in the tank and we are on our way. We arrive at our destination and find out from the local Christian the best place to set up the screen. Little kids gather around and watch the goings-on while someone advertises to the people about the greatest show they've ever seen. We used to start off the evening with a short so-called children's meeting. This consisted of teaching them a few songs and playing a game. People would start to arrive from all parts of the village to see the films, and usually we had an audience of at least 200. Food stalls would spring up and combine with the films to give the audience a really good time. When the campaign was over, the Bible school students were presented with a special farewell banquet. They had contributed time voluntarily from their vacation to help in the effort, and now returning to their homes for the rest of their holiday. One day I was invited by the local pastor to come on a boat trip up the river, which is used for the transportation of all sorts of goods. The pastor lives in one of these houses, which float at the side of the river. A group of teachers visited Alex Smith for lectures on lay training and evangelism. They are from the long-established Presbyterian mission, and though dubbed liberal by most other missionaries, they had a good time of fellowship.
Just what is this lay training they came to hear about? Here at the local church, leaders of other smaller churches come from all over the Utai area to receive instruction and practical experience in teaching their own congregations. The courses, which are held weekly, follow no set syllabus, but rely on the people's own questions for content. Each small church has an average of about half a dozen members, and so when someone else decides to become a Christian, the baptism is quite an event. There is no Western type Christianity here, and everything is done in relation to the Thai culture. The incredible amount of thought going into evangelism in these areas is really encouraging, and one wonders if our super efficient Western style evangelism could not learn badly needed lessons from it.
Because of visa problems, I had to leave Thailand shortly for a visit to Laos. Here, on the banks of the Mekong River, I waited for the ferry to take me to Savannakhet in Laos. The Mekong is the 9th largest river in the world, and at this point it is a mile wide. It has still to wind its way through both Cambodia and Vietnam on its journey. Laos, said to be the most backward country in the world, has only recently received independence from the French. Stricken by the never-ending war with the Pathet Lao, I found the Lao people sad and lifeless. I was glad to get back to the happy-go-lucky Thai people.
During the last 2 months of his stay in Thailand, David had the opportunity to visit the Bible training camp at Payao in North Thailand. John Davis, the principal, is leading the early morning chapel service.
แต่จะพบให้มาทั้งดีและชั่วจนการอภิเษกนั้นเต็มไปด้วยผู้รับเชิญข้อ11-12แต่พระกษัตริย์องค์นั้นเสด็จทอดพระเนตรดูผู้รับเชิญก็เห็นผู้หนึ่งไม่ได้สวมเสื้อสำนักงานจึงรับสั่งถามว่าสหายเอ๋ยเป็นไงมาที่นี่
After finishing their studies for the day, the students are required to put some work into maintaining the Bible camp. The girls are busy making the ground ready for planting vegetables, while others are doing their daily chore of feeding the pigs.
Now, เรื่องนี้ก็เป็นเรื่องที่เรารู้จักกันดีอยู่แล้วเป็นหญิงธรรมดา10 คน5 คนเป็นคนมีปัญญา5 คนอีก5 คนเป็นคนโง่นะครับ
This pig has been sold to a neighbor and so has to change living quarters. He has other ideas though.
พวกธรรมดาเหล่านั้นก็ลุกขึ้นตกแต่งตะเกียงของตนพวกที่โง่นั้นพูดกับพวกที่มีปัญญาว่าขอแบ่งน้ำมันของท่านให้เราบ้างตะเกียงของเราจวนจะดับอยู่แล้วพวกที่มีปัญญาจึงตอบว่าน่ากลัวน้ำมันจะไม่พอสำหรับเราและเจ้าจงไปหาคนขายซื้อสำหรับตัวเองจะดีกว่าเมื่อเขากำลังจะไปซื้อนั้นเจ้าบ่าวก็มาถึงผู้ที่พร้อมอยู่แล้วก็ได้เข้าไปกับท่านในงานสมรสแล้วก็ปิดประตูเสียภายหลังพรหมจารีพวกนั้นมาร้องว่าท่านเจ้าข้าขอเปิดให้ข้าพเจ้าเข้าไปด้วยฝ่ายท่านตอบว่าเราบอกท่านทั้งหลายตามจริงว่าเราไม่รู้จักเจ้าอันนี้อีกตอนหนึ่งนะครับลูกาบทที่18ลูกาบทที่18
After everything is finished for the day, the students take time off for some games. They also love playing music and do so whenever they get the chance. They have a very full program though and don't have much free time at all.
While in North Thailand, I had the pleasure of visiting Neville and Sylvia Long. They took me for a visit to a tribal village where Barbara Good dodges the shells and communist infiltrators. There are no Christians amongst these people, who are all refugees from nearby Laos.
David also had the opportunity to help Peter Weiss do some work in his Akka village. This is as far as the Land Rover can go, and so the rest of the journey must be made on foot. It was a good 2-hour walk to Elephant Valley, as the village is called. At one point it looked as though it would rain heavily, but they managed to reach the village safe and dry. Every morning, water must be carried from the stream up to the house. This was rather a long and tedious business, and so Peter decided to use some ingenuity to make it unnecessary. It is Sunday morning and time for church. The pastor arrives, first with his old battered guitar. And then the rest of the villagers begin to arrive. This village is made up entirely of Christians. But there are others on Elephant Mountain who are still worshipping the spirits. Peter has built a long water line to supply the village with water. Made of plastic piping, the pipeline refused to work at first, and this caused the villagers to complain bitterly, as he had not gone about the task as their forefathers would have done it. They quietened down when it eventually did work, and Peter told them that they were just like the tribes of Israel. Now that the pipeline is finished, he is looking for bamboos to build an extension line to his house. The bamboos are cut down, then trimmed, and split down the middle. The insides are cleaned out, and they are then mounted on sticks to make the pipeline level. Later, the plastic pipe is placed inside the bamboos.
While the pipeline is finished, as are various other tasks I was assigned. Peter has a large garden attached to his house, and so someone has said that even if he doesn't have any church growth, he at least has some organic growth. I left the mountains early one morning and made the long trip back down to Bangkok City. back at 135 Pan Road, the mission headquarters in Thailand, it was decided that I should return to South Africa, as there was nothing left to do in Thailand. Though a bit disappointed at the time, I took it as guidance. However, my stay in Thailand was not entirely unsuccessful, and I have come home having seen the mission field as it really is. Perhaps not how it would like to be seen, nevertheless, greatly encouraged by the attitudes of the missionaries and the thought they are giving to their work.